our mat. And if you have your block, please put it near you. We're going to do a couple ab things that are an option here. So first, just lie to Shavasana. Stretch your arms overhead like a good morning stretch. Begin to breathe into the bottoms of your lungs. And slide your right leg to the right and cross your left ankle on top. You can even grab your left wrist and pull it to the right. Deep breaths. Maybe in the beginning, do the inhale through the nose and the exhale through the mouth. Good, let's switch. Slide your legs off center to the left, cross right ankle over and grab right wrist. One more deep breath. Good. Legs come back to center, and now step your feet on the ground, arms out to the sides, and begin to drop your knees all the way right. And then on the inhale, go all the way left, just nice and slow. On the exhale, again to the right. So just take a moment to find your rhythm. Nice breathing through the nose now. One more round of breath here. Excellent, good. Back to center, bend your right knee into your chest, slide your left leg straight to the ground. And just pull that knee in as you circle the ankle. And let's get right into the hamstrings. Hold on behind your thigh. Extend that leg up and see how straight you can work that right knee. And then point and flex your foot here. Pump that calf muscle. It's very good for our circulation. Good, now relax the ankle. On an exhale, lift head and shoulders off the floor and walk your hands up the leg. Really stretch through the hamstrings here. And then release the leg down, bend your left knee in. Same thing here, just pull that knee in as you circle the ankle. Let's go to extending the leg, point and flex. The more you press the heel up, the more you stretch those calves. Good, now relax the ankle. On an exhale, either stay like me or lift your head and shoulders off the ground. Walk your hands up the leg toward the ankle more. Work that straight knee. And of course, it might not be all the way straight, but a straighter version. All right, and then release both legs down. Take a slow, deep breath here. We'll do two things for the abs. One, and if that doesn't work for you, you just stay lying flat. But if you can, prop yourself up onto your elbows and step your feet on the mat. So just as I am doing right now. Now look down at your belly and just brace your corset, your side obliques, your belly button, brace that in a little and extend your legs up. And now 20 times, nice and slow, we're gonna lower one leg down, not touching the floor. And then as that line comes up, the other floats down. That's 1. So the switch is 1, 2, you keep going, 3, 4, tuck that chin in, brace the core, 5, 6, front ribs hugging into the body, 7, switch 8, switch 9, switch 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, brace that core, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Good. Release your head and chest to the floor, not the chest, head and shoulders, of course, and drop your knees apart. Take a breath, let the knees be heavy, roll your head on the floor side to side. Nothing wrong with strengthening our neck a little bit as well, as we're going to stretch it later in our fish pose anyway. Take another breath. So now grab your block and put it between your thighs. Just imagine I had a block too. I'm using it to lie on, but so put the block between your thighs. There's 3 options, 3 difficulties. 1, you just keep your feet on the floor. 2, you bring your shins parallel to the floor. 3, the hardest, extend your legs straight out as you're hugging that block between your thighs. Find your position for your legs. Brace your core, so kind of scoop the low belly in. And this time we're going to clasp your hands behind your head. Okay? Now starting point, chin off the chest, is just exhale, lift your head and shoulders slightly off the floor. That's your starting point. Good. And now 20 tiny, tiny crunches. I don't care how much movement there is, but don't let go of your engagement in the core. So look at the navel with your eyes, not with your tucking your chin if you need, or look to the ceiling if you know you're maybe about at 8. If you know you're engaging and bracing, come up on exhale so you really know that you're engaging, so the breath is faster. Good. Let's say you're around 20 now, lower back down, drop your knees apart. And you know you can always skip whatever part you don't like and take a deep breath. If you just came in, please put yourself on mute. Thank you. All right, good. And that's it for the lying down part. Let's come up to seated. Cross the right shin in front of the left. And just roll the shoulders a moment. Good. Now set the shoulders back and down. Just let them sink down the back. Feel nice length in the sides of your neck. Make sure you're on mute, please. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not the host today. You all have to do that yourself. Good. So with that nice long neck, just slowly lower your head to the right ear to right shoulder. Option, take your left hand to the left shoulder as your head tilts right and make 3 huge circles with that left elbow. So I want you to draw a giant circle. Good. Head back to center, long neck, and on an exhale, lower head left. Feel that stretch on the right side of your neck, and if you want more, right fingertips on the shoulder head and take 3 huge circles going backward. Good. Bring it back to neutral. And now we'll twist. Take left hand to right knee and twist. Look over the right shoulder. Work again your neck and turn your chest. Think of your organs too. So we're squeezing out the liver on the right now. Now turn just your head all the way over the left shoulder. One more deep breath. Good. Let's unwind. We'll twist when the opposite ankle is in front for now. Sweep the arms up. Inhale. And fold forward. Exhale. Final deep breath here. And let's come up, going right into wild thing. Swing that right leg behind you, left hand behind you, and lift those hips. Press the hips up and forward, right knee and chin on the floor. All right, release. Shake out your leg for a moment. And let's cross left shin in front. Good. Raise that left arm with the elbow facing the ceiling. With the right hand, grab that elbow and side bend lift. And switch, right elbow on top, pull it left. Come back to center. Raise your arms to the ceiling. Now let's clasp and turn the wrist inside out for a moment. Sway a little. Pause at some point. Inhale at center. And fold forward once more. Good. Let's come back. Wild thing. Left leg goes back. Right arm behind you. Lift the hips. Press the hips forward as your chest leans back for 2 more. Good. Let's release down and let's come up to all fours. Tabletop pose. Spread your palms. Arch and round. Inhale, arch. Exhale, round. Keep going. Make the breathing your primary focus. One more. And then neutral spine. Good. Now let's stretch the right leg back. Left arm forward. Begin to circle arm and leg simultaneously, just tiny circles. Excuse me. This is just about coordination by embracing your core. Now reverse those circles. A little more sticky here because we probably all picked the more natural side first. Good, and release. All right, and left leg back, right arm forward. Don't worry if they're not circles at all. Focus on your ankle and wrist and think of them circling. I want you to not actually rotate your foot. So point your toes. It's the circle really comes from your hip, but you're drawing a circle with your toes and fingers. Now let's reverse. All right, let's release. Getting into the shoulders now. So we're back in tabletop, lower to your forearms. Slide your knees just back a little bit. Check in with your forearms. They're parallel with each other. And now press your chest back and lower your forehead toward the ground. Come in and out of this. So rock slowly forward and back to really feel the shoulder stretch. This should not feel like a pinching or make your elbows wider. Now, what you can do to make this stronger, press your fingers, palms, and wrists into the floor, and just gives it more traction. Couple more here. Hips are high. This is not a child's pose. Good. And a really good transition from here is shoulders over, elbows, core in, and come right to forearm plank. Now lengthen out the body from crown of the head to heels. Firm your quads, so squeeze your thigh muscles. Let your tailbone sink into the body, but then scoop up your belly so you're not hanging down at the hips. 2 more breaths. Press those forearms down. 1 more. Good, and lie flat onto your back. I'm going to turn sideways, which you can do too. You do actually get a deeper stretch. Reach back with your left hand and grab your left ankle. Lying on the belly or on the right side. Use your left glute to squeeze that glute into the body, which makes the hip flexor having to stretch a little more. 1 more breath. Good, and switch. One more breath. Good. So we're back on the belly, lie on your belly. Set up your hands next to your chest for a cobra pose, elbows back. And on your inhalation, initiate with the head. Lift your head and chin, and then lift your chest a little. Engage your whole back body from the upper back to the heels. Everything's firm. The belly button is on the floor. And then lower back down. Lay flat, relax the back body. And again, without pressing into the hands, inhale, lift your head, your chest, maybe some of the front ribs. Drive your shoulder blades down the back so we don't shrug the shoulders to the ears. Squeeze your glutes and hamstrings. Your core is working here too, by the way. And lower back down. Relax everything for 1 breath. Now this time I want you to initiate it with the hands. So push your hands into the floor and then peel your head, chest, and some front ribs off the ground. And really feel the most of the effort now is in your arms. So you feel the back of your arms, your triceps start working. Now just by pushing into the hands, lift another inch or so of your torso off the ground. Look up to the third eye. 1 more breath. Good, and release. Push back into child's pose. Child's pose we go, and just take a couple deep breaths. Good, 1 more here. So from our child's pose, we're going to come all the way up to standing. We'll just do a little bit of a flow here, just to the degree that you want to and can follow along. Just step to the front of your mat. Do 2 rounds here, arms to the side. And you can do full-blown vinyasas if that's in your energy field today. Good, so feet hip width or all the way together. Arms to the side for 1 breath. On an inhale, float the arms out and up. Clasp your hands at the top and side bend to the right. Shift more weight into the left foot now. Center, inhale, and side bend left as more weight shifts to the right foot. Center, inhale, soft shoulders on the back, and stretch back. Good, slowly back to neutral. Take a deep breath in here. And swan dive down. Separate the feet if you like. Fold forward. Enjoy that nice stretch in the hamstrings, glutes, back. One more breath. All right, now step your left foot back and lower that left knee to the ground. Coming into low lunge, back toes can stay tucked, hands to front thigh. I like even better if you want to get into the psoas, the front left hip flexor. Clasp your hands behind your head. From your tail to your crown, you're a straight, erect line here. Now sink your hips slightly forward and side bend a little to the right. So your left elbow lifts to the ceiling, your right elbow sinks down. Good, come back to center. Lower the fingertips to the ground and lift your back knee. You can hop the foot in, pyramid pose. So left heel turns in. Straighten your right leg as much as you can. If this feels like it's too much, do half split. You have your block if you need it. Breathe. Now, just sense your hips in space. If you can, whack your tail to the left a little. So rotate the right hip a little into the center of the mat, in other words. And breathe. All right, final exhale whenever it occurs. And now let's adjust the feet for warrior one. Left heel turns in more, lunge forward, and sweep your arms forward and up to Virat one, warrior one. Lift up through the biceps, shoulder blades down the back, and breathe. One more breath. Good. Take another inhale and exhale. Swan dive slowly halfway forward. So from your back heel to the top of your head, you're trying to be one diagonal line. Scoop the belly in. Strong legs for 2 more breaths. And downward dog we go. Child's pose, welcome. Turn it out a little, play around here. Good. If you like, come to plank. Make sure, feel like someone's hand is on your sacrum and it's kind of pushing it down as you come to plank. You don't want to have your butt stick up. Your sacrum is just kind of dropping into your body. Scoop the belly up. From your plank, lower your knees, turn your inner elbows forward and lower flat to the ground here. Inhale, press up to upward facing dog. Exhale, down dog or child's pose. 2 breaths. If you're in down dog, well, let's say if you're not, come to down dog. Step your right foot between your hands, and this can be very elegant, or you can use your hands for it. I don't care. Just bring your right foot forward, come up onto your fingertips. Option 2. Lift your left leg to the ceiling, standing split. So walk your hands forward a little, so you can almost like lift your chest a bit, and drag your left leg to the ceiling. I want you to think of a split here. Connect with your left toes. Reach those toes to the ceiling for 1 more breath.
now step your left foot next to the right and take a breath in forward fold. On an inhale, lift your hand and chest first, and then sweep your arms up. Come back to standing mountain pose. Take a breath. So that was still the first round. We'll do another one for the other leg, of course. Separate the feet hip width. This time you saw it coming, chair pose. Stick your butt back, arms parallel or higher. Now imagine, or maybe put your hands on your chest, and how upright can you make your upper body without lifting your butt? One more breath. Now reach behind you, interlock your hands and fold forward again. Reach the knuckles to the ceiling or whatever you got here. All right, fingertips gently to the floor. Step your right foot back and lower that right knee to the floor. Low lunge, back toes tucked. Spine upright. You can keep your hands on that left thigh or clasp your hands now. Sink the hips forward and side bend left. So left elbow toward the floor. All right, back to neutral. Coming to pyramid, hands forward, back knee lifts. And shift your hips back so your left leg can straighten. Using blocks if needed. Remember to rotate your left hip to the right and into the center of the mat a little. All right, set up warrior one. Lifting up through the biceps again, free neck. Breathing into the lower lungs. If you don't feel challenged in this pose, I want you to lunge forward more and squeeze your right thigh. Now halfway, swan dive, so sweep your arms out, halfway down and lean forward. Sense a diagonal line from the top of head to right heel. Scoop the belly in. Front ribs in. Using all those abs. One more. Good. Fingertips to the floor. Downward facing dog. Try it out. Same thing. Remember how we said in warrior one to reach through the biceps? Reach through the biceps here as well and press your inner palms, so the webbing between the thumb and index finger, press that down. And you tread. In your own way, to finish the cycle, step your left foot between your hands. Fingertips are on the floor. Either stay there or standing split. Right leg to the sky, hands walk forward slightly, chest lifts. Drive that right leg up. It's a hard-earned stretch, because if you go high enough, you should feel a stretch in your left leg also. So try to straighten that left leg. One more inhale. And step right foot down. Exhale. Arms sweep out and up. Come to standing. And let it go. Just shake it out. All right, so from here, let's have our block near us. Step your feet somewhat wide here. Take up a little more than half of the length of your mat. And let's turn the right heel in, right toes out. So in other words, triangle pose. Left heel turns backward a little, arms out. If you want, that's why we have the block near the right foot now. If you want to do half moon after, we can do that. So press your big toe mounts down. Weight shifts to the back heel a little. Right arm reaches and goes down to ankle, or wherever it naturally can reach. Keep your thighs strong. Now, eventually, if you plan on going to half moon, bend your right knee, look down. Grab your block. Now, I want you to think of your waist on both sides really long. Now, lean the chest. It's all about leaning the chest forward, forward, forward. Adjust the block underneath your right shoulder or more to the right. And there we are in half moon. If this is too wobbly, find a wall. But again, if you put the block a little more to the right, it gives you a lot more stability. Now think of your left leg as the other standing leg. So firm that left thigh. Press the heel back and feel that lightness. Long neck and crown. 2 more breaths. Maybe let go of the block altogether. All right, bring the block with you and come up to standing. Set up. So just put the block somewhere near the left foot, setting up triangle first here. Right heel turns back, arms out. Inhale, shift to the left, over the left toes or beyond your left toes even. And come down. More or less, so don't force your body, but more or less you want to think that you're wedged between 2 panes of glass. So in other words, your hips are right underneath you, and your left shoulder and your right shoulder are in the same line hovering over your left leg. A lot of information, but just feel that, because if you do it right, you should feel a stretch in your right waist area that gets often tight. All right, begin to look down, bend your left knee, make your way to half moon. Use all the cues to refine your pose. You can leave the block, and when you're done, come back into that wide stance. Relax for a moment. Now let's turn your toes out, heels in. Make sure the feet are in the same plane. So if there were a line on the mat, both heels would be on that line. Swing your right arm under the left. Eagle arms. Option, keep your legs straight, just lift your elbows. Option 2, come into goddess. Just squat down, super wide. Think of like a sumo squat. Or, I don't know the first thing about ballet, but stay where you are. But think of, I think it's called plie, that first stance they do, that pose, but with wide legs. Good, and just rotate, pivot up from the elbow side to side. So when you go left, your left elbow pulls the right elbow left, and when you go to the right elbow drags you to the right. Great shoulder stretch. Good, eventually back to center, straighten your legs, relax your arms, shoulder roll. And now swing your left arm under. Keep your leg straight, or again, come to goddess. This time, move your elbows up and down unless that twist really worked for you. Tip, if you wrap your forearms really around each other, like a tightrope, and then you go up and down, it really gets a good shoulder stretching. Use your glutes to press your knees outward. Now pause, hands to heart center. Stay put, or 15 times squat down lower, think inner thigh stretch. 2, 3, shoulders over hips. 4, 5, don't lean forward. If you can, 6, 7, 8, 9, sorry for heart breathing, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Excellent. Stand up for a moment, step your feet together. It's a lot of strengthening for the ankles, so rotate them for a moment. All right, good. So I would like to do a quick warrior 2. Come to the wider stance now, right foot turns to the right. Lunge into Vera 2, arms out. Round stacked over tailbone. Left thigh firm. Can you firm your left thigh but not your left glute? That's true control of your muscles. Now, right foot to right thigh. You can go lower if you want. Left arm in line with your left ear. Here too, wrap your outer right hip underneath you a little bit so you get that nice stretch in the left side. Maybe you get stretches other places. Just take another breath. We're going to go right to our prayer twist. Come back to warrior 2. If this is too much, just release. Otherwise, hands to the hips. Look to the right. Now, you can hop left foot left and come into the ball of your foot so you're in a lunge. Of course, dropping the back knee is an option. Once you're in this lunge, take your left arm. On an exhale, rotate the chest right and hook your left arm to the right thigh. I'm going to do the variation that's easier. Hands to right thigh, look over the right shoulder, and you squeeze your glutes. 3 more breaths. And slowly straighten your right leg and pivot to the side again. Now, setting up warrior 2, left foot turns open. Look to the left hand and breathe. Just find your strength. Especially in yoga, I feel like strength is a lot about having the right attitude. So there might be a lot going on in your body right now. Just if not, just drop lower. Lunge into that left thigh. Challenge yourself, mind and body. Good. With a non-reactive, friendly attitude, lower left arm to left thigh. Right arm in line with the right ear or to the ceiling, and breathe. Come back to warrior 2. Hands to hips. Look left. Hop right foot right and come onto the ball of your back foot as fast as you can. Don't criticize yourself. And prayer twist to the left. Anchor through the right leg. Press that right heel back. All right, release. Turn to the center for one last time. Excellent job if you're still with me. Come to a wider stance, but not as wide as your warrior two. Hands to the hips. Inhale, stretch back. And exhale, lean forward, press into your big toe mounts and fold in. Just let it go. Hamstrings and sitting bones lift high and your chest drops low. Option, just stay. Option two, walk your hands forward a little. Lift your chest for a moment. Now keep your right hand there as your left hand grabs the right ankle. Good, come back with hands in line. Maybe they're even in front of your chest. So look up, lengthen, and then take your right hand over to the left ankle. Good, release. Walk your hands back underneath your chest. Shift your weight into the center of your feet, so out of just the heels. Hands to hips. And with a long spine, lift up to standing. And that's it for standing. Step your feet together. And let's release down to the floor. And grab your block. We're going to go right into our hero pose. So if you have a bolster, please use that. Whatever you've got. Tip, roll your calves outward with your hands. So it's not as much compression for the vessels. Do your own variation for maybe 3-4 more breaths. If you're fairly low for the last breath or two, squeeze your knees toward each other. Only if nothing hurts. All right, carefully come out of that. If you're lying on the belly, if you're doing that variation, you might just want to go to child's pose. If you want to be slightly more active and you were just in full hero, come to down dog. It's good for the knee joints to just kind of straighten, get the blood flow back. So I have a little detour. If you would like to join, do stay with me. Otherwise, bring your left leg into pigeon. Left leg forward to pigeon. Otherwise, we'll get there too. Just lower to the knees first. And I like to do this from my elbows. You can stay on the hands or elbows, but if you're on the elbows, clasp your hands. And now here's what we do. Donkey kick. We're going to kick the left leg to the ceiling. Bring the knee down and then pivot it out. Like a dog going on a hydrant, basically. So kick up and kick out. Heel to the ceiling, knee to the side. It's about 4 and out. 5. Kick the leg as high up. Make sure you don't go back. You go up as much as you can to really work that glute. 6, 7, we'll go to 12. 8, 9, 10, see, almost there, 11, and 12, perfect. And now come up onto your hands, we're back to down dog, and let's bring that left leg forward to pigeon. Relax here, deep breaths. Imagine you're breathing into every cell of your body. For every cell needs oxygen to function. Relax your skin. Relax your expectation of this day and just see what happens naturally today. Good. Since we just stretched the quads, give it another try. Bend your right leg, grab that ankle. Okay, let's release. Come back to a horse vinyasa, people. By any means, go for it. So we did the left leg first so you can see in the camera exactly what I'm doing. So let's go to the right leg now. Either go right to pigeon or donkey kicks first. Right leg presses up and then over to the right. That's 2, straight up to the ceiling. However high your body will do that. Now, that's about 4. Also, if you feel this pinch in your low back, I want you to brace your core. It's not about arching your low back. Your pelvis stays neutral the whole time. It's about 6. This is just glute work. 7, glute and hamstrings. 8, 9, 10, 11, almost done, 12, and out. Don't forget the out. And then come back to the hands and to pigeon. Again, just let your mind float lightly, focus, breathing, active energy in the body. One more cleansing breath here. And grab your back ankle once more if you can. Good, release. Sit over into your right hip carefully and bring both legs out in front of you and right into the diamond shape here, into Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet connect. Slide your heels super close in toward your groin. And try to sit forward of your sitting bones. Just get into those inner thighs. Good. Release. Slide your right leg over to the right. Left heel somewhere in by the groin. Let's do side bend first. Right hand to right ankle. Left arm sweeps overhead to the left ear. Good. Now we'll work on the same leg. So come up. Turn your chest to the right toes and fold in. Reach both hands to that right foot. Good. Let's come back up and switch left leg out, right heel in. Side bend first. Come on, turn your chest to the left toes, both hands reaching for that foot. And let's release that completely and move on to lying onto your back. Finally, right? Lie on your back. Guide you verbally from here. Just take a couple breaths in Shavasana. Embrace that lively energy in the body. So rejuvenating and awakening. Good, now step your feet onto the mat, knees over ankle for bridge, arms down by the sides. Curl the tailbone ever so slightly off the ground using your glutes, and I press up to full bridge pose. Good. Any variations if you like. One could be clasping your hands underneath you, roll the shoulders back, or just use your glutes to press your hips up and forward. One more final breath. On the exhale, press the hips even higher. And now release your hands and lower all the way down. Drop your knees apart, soles of the feet connect. Take one more cleansing breath. Your short version of a shoulder stand. So either sweep your legs up to the ceiling, rock your hips off the ground, and work your elbows to parallel to each other behind you. The weight stays on your arms, or you put the block under the hips and raise your legs to the ceiling. So if you're in shoulder stand, without bringing weight to the neck or turning your head, you can dip your toes back behind you into one-legged or two-legged plow. And if your legs are just up and your hips are on the block, you have variations bringing the legs wide or circling your ankles, or the eagle legs. There's so much you can do, maybe for another half minute or so, just play. And when you're done, let's roll out. You're back in Shavasana. Take a deep cleansing breath. And a fish pose. So I'm doing the one that I showed the other day again. So I'm on my elbows, plus I have the block under my back. I'm gonna bring my head back. You can do either way. Good, and release, lying flat on the back again. Maybe roll the head side to side once more. Happy baby pose to finish. All right, and Shavasana is next. If you'd rather do a final spinal twist, add a few moments doing both sides of that. Or really anything else you want to add on, but then we'll meet in Shavasana after. If you're already in Shavasana, just turn your palms up. Maybe take a sigh or two. Float your eyes closed. Just allow your body to absorb all that beautiful, positive energy that you just created. Let that be your healing force today. And if you can't really connect to the idea of healing force, just know whenever we have positive energy flowing in our body, or we have a good attitude and we just did yoga poses like we did, there can be physical healing or nurturing that occurs. It's really good for our organs, for example. Flushed, twisted, compressed, and stretched. Now, as all of this is happening in your body, relax the mind and tune in to an even ebb and flow of your breath, a very gentle one. Let everything else go now. Deep in your next breath. Wiggle the fingers, the toes, wrists, and ankles. On an inhale, raise your arms up. Exhale, bring your arms down, bend your knees in, rock side to side. Roll over to one side and sit up. Place your hands at the heart center. And as we always practice gratitude, think of one thing or just think the words, thank you. Namaste.